Well, it is happening. The one thing nobody wanted to happen is actually happening. What am I referring to? Well, the Israeli ceasefire deal with Hamas is starting to go downhill already, day 2. Time is running out, so let's talk about what we know and what we don't know and what will probably happen. First things first, let me start with day 1 because this sort of opens the book to you and gives you the full perspective on how we almost got misled. Day 1, everything went great. You had a prisoner swap. You had a hostage exchange between Hamas and Israel. You actually had people cheering over on the Palestinian side. You had people cheering over on the Israeli side. Everything went super smooth between the Red Cross going into Egypt, from Egypt into Israel. It was amazing. It's like, finally, we're starting to see regular old civilians on both sides returning to their families. Now we get to day 2. Everyone's like, let's go check the news. Let's go see day 2. Maybe we'll see some nice things happening today. It started to go downhill already, people. Here's what's going on. So Israel had announced, okay, the trucks are coming into Palestine. The trucks are coming into Gaza. Fuel trucks, energy trucks, all the humanitarian aid for Gaza as per ceasefire. Now, when you look at the ceasefire deals, and I even had this question, there was a very gray area on where exactly in northern Gaza does the humanitarian aid go, and where exactly in southern Gaza does the humanitarian aid go. But Israel had announced today, at the time of making this video, that Israel is starting to bring in all of the trucks as per ceasefire agreement. Now, there was an expectation of, okay, Hamas, the trucks are coming in. Where are the rest of the hostages? Like, we're supposed to get 10 more today. No. Hamas said absolutely not. Hamas is delaying the exchange, and Hamas is saying, first and foremost, in this agreement, Israel, you guys said you would come into northern Gaza. Where are the trucks? You guys announced the trucks are here. Where are the trucks in northern Gaza? Where is the humanitarian aid in northern Gaza? And that right now is the argument coming from the Hamas side. Look, I'm not here to give Hamas props. I'm just trying to report the news here. This is what Hamas is saying. I'm trying to give you their full perspective, and I'll let you guys decide what's right and what's wrong. Now, the issue is this. Time is running out. And the ceasefire has only one stipulation, that if 10 more hostages are released per day, the ceasefire extends per 1 day. So I hope that makes sense to you. You can actually go back and look into the ceasefire agreements. I'm just trying to inform you guys a little bit of the agreements. Now, to Israel, there really hasn't been a response. We haven't seen anything yet. But to be fair, Israel really can't do a thing. If Hamas is saying, we want more fuel trucks, get your butts up into northern Gaza faster, Israel and the UN has to do that. And not only that, Israel is sort of dealing with their own consequences right now, because if we're being honest with ourselves, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to navigate in Palestine right now. When you look at neighborhoods, entire cities, not entire cities, but a majority of cities being destroyed, it's very difficult for these trucks to get to where they need to be. And not only that, you have to make the assumption that the truck drivers probably have zero idea where they're going. Again, this all happened really quick, and this idea of just putting trucks into an entire nation and just saying, okay, here you go, ceasefire agreement, good to go. No, these ceasefire agreements and the deal, it was very vague and very gray. And I think we had our hopes up on day 1 that it looked like things were going great. And now we're on day 2, and it doesn't look like things are going great. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Israel can't do a damn thing about it. They are still under the ceasefire agreement. This is definitely a very sad thing. And something else I want to point out is that there is now this realization from really the United States, the rest of the world, that Hamas quite literally controls this entire agreement. Regardless if Israel quite clearly has the strongest military against Hamas, they have better technology, way more trained, it doesn't make a difference. Hamas right now is winning this. They are winning this part of the war, this ceasefire. Reason being is because they control who leaves and doesn't leave. Like, quite literally control. This is confirmed by President Biden and other U.S. sources that we don't even know if Americans are going to get released in this hostage deal. We don't know any of this because Hamas has the power. They can say who goes. As long as it's women and children, Hamas has done their part of the agreement. And it almost seems like in this ceasefire deal, we really overlooked like how this would happen. Like, is Israel really going to want a Thai national over an Israeli national, or is Israel going to want an American national over an Israeli national? Because now you're starting to see a little bit of confliction behind the scenes of, we don't know who's going to come back. We're happy with one person, so you say. But again, I don't live in a fake world, and I hope a lot of you also don't live in a fake world. I think Israel truly, truly wants their Israeli nationals back, and hopefully try to get the rest of the hostages back. But again, to fully confirm this from Biden, from Israel, from other assets and other media outlets, Hamas is controlling this entire deal right now. And look, this is why Israel has been extremely reluctant to even do this deal. Israel didn't even want to do the 4-hour pauses. The United States told them, you're going to do the 4-hour pauses. And now Israel is in the ceasefire deal. I'm not sticking up for Israel. I'm just saying from their perspective. Qatar, United States said, here's the deal. Here's what's going to happen. And now you're seeing the consequences of working with groups like Hamas, where, you know, Hamas is getting exactly what they want. They're getting media attention. They're stalling, they're delaying. Hezbollah is starting to attack Israel more. You had another Israeli ship that's been attacked. Like, Hamas is loving this. Like, they are literally quite able to, imagine this, they are able to walk around Palestine freely. And Israel cannot do a damn thing. They can wave at Israeli troops, they can gesture to them, they can talk to them, and Israel cannot do a damn thing unless it's under self-defense. And not only that, Hamas is also getting another massive win, where the people of Palestine, per this ceasefire agreement, are starting to venture back into northern Palestine to go check and see if their homes are still around, and possibly finding some of their family members that may have been displaced. Israel, this is turning into a disaster for Israel real quick. Unfortunately, I hope the narrative changes, because I'm on the side of, let's get these hostages all freed. Let's get these Palestinian prisoners, like whatever. Like, this is now a war between Hamas and Israel. And again, I think Israel is sort of running into the problems they have caused initially with the total destruction of areas, and now it's becoming relevant that it's very hard to navigate to get trucks into northern Gaza, especially when there's really only one passageway going up into Israel, if we're being honest with ourselves. So that is currently the situation of what's happening right now in Palestine between Hamas and Israel. Nobody knows how this is going to end. Again, Israel has been very vague on the response, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of fingers being pointed back and forth on, they broke the deal, they broke the deal. Because if you go into the first 15 minutes of the deal, there were reports of rockets being launched from Gaza. There were reports of Israel doing some stuff they weren't supposed to be doing. So this deal initially looked like it was already going to get tainted from the beginning. I'm not confirming or unconfirming those reports were actually legit, but it was being reported that things were already getting fishy. But again, we had a lot of hope from the very first day that, like, hey, things were working out with Egypt. This is all looking amazing. Again, go look back at the videos. You actually had people cheering on both sides. And now I think people are like, really, this is happening. If you're watching this video, I hope that you're not that surprised this is happening. I'm definitely a little disappointed it's happening, but I'm really curious to see what the response is, because Israel cannot respond with violence. They cannot respond with an air campaign. And look, if hostages are not released today, per the ceasefire agreement, technically Hamas does not have to release the rest of the hostages. They only have to release 20 more, I believe, 20 more, 30 more, but that still leaves 10 more out of the loop. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I hope this all ends soon, and I hope this is not just another door opener for more violence. You know, I really hope this doesn't happen from the Israeli side, and I hope it doesn't happen from the side of Hamas. So we'll see what happens.